Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, as we now have moved on with our Warriors of Chaos faction focus to Special Part 2. We covered the first part of the Special category in the last episode. We're now on to the second part, where we look at the remainder of the units in the Special category. And for those that haven't seen any before, we are looking at the 8th edition Warriors of Chaos army book, seeing how what units were there and how they played, to give us an idea of how they might play in Warhammer The Old World, even though they might have slightly different rules. So as we come in here, first up, Dragon Ogres. You can see them here. They are still available. The miniatures themselves are a little bit old and tired, I think. They're not my favourite miniatures, I have to say. I do think you could do much more with Dragon Ogres, but these are the ones that are still currently available. Stats-wise, they've got above average movement, strength and leadership, low ballistic skill and initiative. Equipment-wise, they come with a hand weapon and light armour, and they have options for additional hand weapon, halberds or great weapons. Unit size is 3+, but they can only have a champion. Special rules, they have fear, they have scaly skin 5+, and they have storm rage, which gives you a 2+ ward save against lightning attacks, and if they're hit by lightning, they gain frenzy. Right, so these are 60 points per model. You could have 3 chosen for the same points cost, who have better armor save, similar strength, and better weapon skill. And 3 chosen would have 6 attacks over these guys, which are 3 attacks per model, right? So it's 60 points per model, or 3 chosen for 1 Dragon Ogre, you get 6 attacks. So you can see you get actually more attacks. The only thing they do have is 1 less wound, right? So 3 chosen is 3 wounds, 1 Dragon Ogre is 4 wounds. But 60 points per model. The Chosen also have the ability to take a Mark of Chaos, which gives them a little bit more flexibility and choice about how you want to play them, durability, damage, so on. The Dragon Ogres are not a terrible choice, but I preferred putting the points in the Chosen. And, Storm Rage, you're paying the points for this special rule, which is incredibly situational, incredibly situational that you're going to be hit by lightning attacks, and if an enemy player knows you've got Dragon Ogres, they're not exactly going to be casting, sort of chain lightning or something like that onto your Dragon Ogres, because they're going to know you cast it against something else, right? So I think it's a very situational ability, and I really hope in Warhammer The Old World they do something different with that. We've seen there's some sort of storm ability on a Dragon Ogre Shagoth, but we haven't seen the full rules for how that's going to work. So something to bear in mind. Hopefully it has changed. Next up, Chaos Trolls. So these are the original Chaos Trolls in the Beast of Chaos. You can see them here. Now, they're not currently available. There are no Chaos Trolls available. However, you've got these Stone Troggoths, as they're known, which is in the destruction section of the Age of Sigmar. And with a you could change the paint job, darken it up with that sort of dark bluey black and the red. You could make them chaosy looking. You could even add some, chaos stars or something like that to make them a bit more chaosy. But overall, these you could easily make these with not too much effort look like some chaos trolls. You just would need to change the bases. Stats-wise, above average movement, strength, wounds and attacks, low weapon skill, ballistic skill, initiative and leadership. Low leadership, not great for these guys. Equipment, hand weapon, and they can take an additional hand weapon. Unit size is 3+. Special rules, fear, regeneration, stupidity, and Troll Vomit. Now, Troll Vomit is a single strength 5 attack. It automatically hits and there's no armor save. However, it does replace all your normal attacks. Right, so that's obviously a huge downside. Overall, I never took Chaos Trolls. They're 35 points a model. Their stat line is not great. And to be honest, it goes to reinforce how good the Chosen are for the points. I actually think Chosen are really good. So either some of these other units are overcosted or the Chosen are undercosted. I actually just think the Chosen are absolutely really good for what they are. These guys, no armor save. They do have regeneration, but they are only toughness 4 with 3 wounds. So they're not that durable, and then you add into that the combined risk of stupidity with low leadership. Not necessarily the sort of unit that I would want in my roster, and I think these guys would either need a points reduction or slight rules change in Warhammer The Old World to make them more viable, because even if chosen were a little bit more expensive, the risk of the stupidity, combined with the lack of durability is a problem. I think they do need to be a bit more durable, to be honest. Moving on in the special category, we now have the Chimera. Still available on the Warhammer web store, and you can see it here on an Age of Sigmar base. Stats-wise, good movement, strength, toughness, wounds and attacks, low ballistic skill, initiative and leadership. Equipment-wise, it may take Flaming Breath, which is a strength 4 breath weapon with flaming attacks, Regenerating Flesh, which is regeneration, and Venomous Ooze, which gives him poisoned attacks. Unit size, obviously, of 1. Special rules-wise, you've got a Fiend Tail, which is an additional D3 attacks, which are rolled for separately, and they get +1 to hit any target in the rear arc. It can fly, as we've said, that's a huge bonus for monsters. Large target, which means it can't use cover. Scaly Skin 4+, which is that's pretty reasonable, 4+ save, and they cause terror. Not a bad choice, I have to say, and it's the only monster in the special category, and the rare category often quite well taken up, and monsters are quite expensive, so actually having it in the special category is nice, and should be a choice for consideration because it can fly. The Flaming Breath and the Regeneration are both great upgrades and would be the ones I'd be considering, though that is going to make the unit 275 points, which is pretty pricey, but a good option for a monster if you're looking to include a monster in your army roster. But as you get more and more expensive, it gets more and more difficult to get a full return on those points cost, and I sometimes took this unit, but it does mean then making more compromises on the size of my infantry block. So it just depends if you wanted that sort of extra mobility, that extra flexibility you might get with a flying monster as opposed to a slow moving big unit of infantry. Hopefully with the Warhammer The Old World battles, we might see a bit more objective-based gameplay, a bit more reason to have mobility. Mobility wasn't so important in some of those pitch battles where it's just big units of infantry against big units of infantry, right? So having more objective-based gameplay will give more of a need for these more mobile units, and that will enhance the need for cavalry, but also for things like flying monsters, which could, on their own almost, deal with objectives against skirmishing infantry, skirmish cavalry, and so on. So hopefully, even more benefit in Warhammer The Old World, but not a bad choice in the 8th edition. Next up, we've got the Gore Beast Chariot. So pretty much the same chariot you saw before in the core video, but you've got a Gore Beast as the mount, essentially. So, good movement, weapon skill, strength, toughness, wounds, leadership, low ballistic skill, initiative. Equipment-wise, halberds on the crew, size in a chariot, and it's 2 crew, 1 Gore Beast. Armor saver 3+, same as the other chariot, and you can take a Mark of Chaos again at 10 points per model. Unit size of 1, special rules Fear, and the Gore Beast has a special rule, its impact hits now have Killing Blow, which is not bad. It's 20 more points than a normal chariot, and you get +1 toughness, +1 wound, +2 attacks, but -2 movement, right, which is a real downside for something like this. Overall, it's better value for points, looking at the stat line, than a normal Chaos Chariot. More resistant to shooting because of the toughness you've got and the wound, which is nice because it's out on its own, it's not in a unit. But, it has that similar issue, right? It's a unit of 1. You really need to get the charge to get the value. You need to get the charge and you've got less movement, which makes getting that charge even harder. So, to be honest, I never took one of these in any army list. Chariots, they just didn't work for me with the flavour of them. If I'm running chariots, I actually like something more like the Tomb King chariots, where I've got a unit of 3 of them. These guys out on their own could be easily focused down. And I say the Gore Beast one, that lack of movement, but when they really need to get the charge to be maximum use, is a major problem. So didn't take these. Okay, and the last unit we're going to be looking at in the special category is the Chaos War Shrine. Stats wise, good movement, weapon skill, strength, toughness, attacks, leadership, low ballistic skill, initiative. The model is still available, and you can see the miniature there on an Age of Sigmar base on the right hand side. Equipment wise, hand weapon, you get 1 Chaos Shrine Master, 2 of the Shrine Bearers, and essentially it's a chariot with an armor save of 4+, and it can also take Chaos Marks. Unit size of 1, of course. Special rules, you get Favour of the Ruinous Powers, which is friendly models within 12 inches that roll on the Eye of the Gods table, may roll an additional d6 and discard 1, so they're getting much more choice about what bonus they're getting from Eye of the Gods. That's very nice, because the ability to choose on that is very good. Giver of Glory is a bound spell. It's power level 4. D3 friendly models with the Eye of the Gods rule may immediately roll on the table and also benefit from Favour of the Ruinous Powers. So basically, you put this in the middle of your army, and bearing in mind you've got like units with champions that have the Eye of the Gods rule, you can cast this, and D3 of those unit champions can suddenly start getting Eye of the Gods bonuses without having to fight duels or kill monsters, almost making them into exalted heroes. This is excellent. It's got a 4+ ward save on top of its 4+ armor save. That's very nice. And each Shrine Bearer has a d6 + 2 attacks. That's pretty nice. And War Platform is that although it's a chariot, you don't get impact hits from it when it charges, and it doesn't have Swift Stride. Dangerous terrain tests are taken as infantry. This was a pretty common choice in my army list, often taken with Mark of Tzeentch. That gave me then a 3+ ward save, right? Because Mark of Tzeentch doesn't just give you a 6+ ward save if you already have one. You end up with an extra +1 to a maximum of 3+ ward save. That's amazing. Combined with 4+ armor, toughness 5 wounds. It's very durable. Sit it just behind the front line, buffing all, obviously, the units and characters around. As it says there, I can provide a huge boost to characters with the Eye of the Gods rolls. And it can even turn unit champions into scary characters if you're doing this every turn and getting them to roll an Eye of the Gods. That's great. And more options to get Demon Princes, roll a couple of 12s. There's two Demon Princes just appeared in your army. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's 125 points for this unit. And overall, it's got a decent number of Strength 5 attacks as a bonus on top of it. So, yeah, Chaos War Shrine, I really like it. Really flavourful. I love what it does. I love the way it does it. I actually like the way the unit looks as well. So, overall, I actually hope this, and I do think it will be, in Warhammer The Old World in the army roster. I say you can still buy it even now. And hopefully the rules are pretty similar, because I think it's very nice and flavourful in how it works. Maybe the points value might go up a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. There you go. That brings us to the end of the Warriors of Chaos special units. I hope you've enjoyed this video and a look at those units in 8th edition, see how they might play in Warhammer The Old World. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't know, give it a thumbs down, but let me know why you didn't enjoy it in the comments down below. And as always, if you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free for you to do.